Exciting news. There's another anniversary in the works, and to celebrate it, Gibson has launched a trio of 1958 reissued ES-335s from the Murphy Lab. We're going to tell you all about them, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our Spring Store link below for custom swag and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts with new episodes coming soon, we promise. So,
maybe someday.
A trio of custom shop 58 ES-335s, and it is in celebration of Gibson's 130-year.
Getting choked up.
Just thinking about it, because I love Gibson guitars so much. 130-year anniversary. So they've come out with these, and they're very, very cool. They're all Murphy Lab, and because it's the 130-year anniversary, only 130 of each of these will be released worldwide. So the line forms here, everybody. No, very, very cool. We've already spent some time and maybe have fallen.
Yeah, they're super cool. And they sound very, very good. They feel very good. You know, we've gotten some custom shop ES-335s before. None quite like this. You know, we've had some Lucille action over here. We've seen a few, but these I think might be the first Murphy Lab 335s that we've gotten, and there are some pretty cool ones to get for our first time. So
very, very cool. So here's what we've got. We've got two that are heavy aged, and we've got one that is light aged, if you are familiar with the nomenclature or not from Murphy Lab. So the Dirty Blonde and the Faded Tobacco Burst, those are the heavy aged of the bunch. And then this guy that I've got is the lower priced light aged Tri-Burst. So lower priced because the more aging you do, the more expensive it gets. But let's talk about some specs and what makes these special.
Yeah.
So I'm a 335 guy.
You are. You own one.
I do own one. You need to own one.
I would love to own one, specifically this one right here.
Yeah. And you're a big fan of Mr. 335, so I'm surprised you don't own one.
Yeah, I'm a big Larry Carlton fan, so my closet's full of Sires right now, but I kind of need to go back to the source, you know what I'm saying?
So if you're not familiar with the ES-335, it's a pretty amazing guitar. It has always been in production since it was introduced, and it is affectionately called the Burst Killer because it effectively helped to discontinue the Gibson Les Paul initially. And I know people that aren't familiar with the history go like, what? The Les Paul was discontinued? Indeed it was. And you know, it's kind of funny. So in the 50s, they come out with the Les Paul. They're making all of these. They're doing these variations.
Yeah.
In 58, they do the Burst Les Paul. In 58, Ted McCarty and team come out also with the ES-335, which is the world's first thin, semi-hollow electric guitar. And you know, they'd had the arch tops and other big hollow bodies they'd been doing for a while, and they borrowed from that and what they were doing with the Gibson in order to determine the depth of this, you know, based upon kind of Les Paul stuff, the pickups, the control layout, and everything. And so they came out with this, and it immediately was popular. It was outselling the Les Paul. The Les Paul gets discontinued, and in '61 becomes what we know now as the SG. It eventually comes back, but this has always been, you know, just the bee's knees. A lot of people, myself included, if you said, you know, you get one electric guitar, which one is it out of all the ones that you have? It'd probably be a 335. So
yeah, and I mean, Chris did get one not too long ago.
Nope.
And it was not a brand new one. It was a really cool.
It's a
used one that
95.
we got in. So I think we'll be kind of showing that one off and talking about some changes that he wants to make. Are you going to send it into Tom Murphy?
No, it's getting Murphy'd on. It's getting McKee'd.
Yeah, it's the McKee Lab. So you know, you mentioned earlier with the Murphy Lab relicking, they use some things, you know, to emulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tom Murphy's been at this for a bit. He's really become a bit of an artisan when it comes to aging a guitar to look a certain way. And I think he's talked about early on, some of that was having a specific reference guitar and finding tools, and maybe it was a razor blade or something to, try to match exactly what's going on with this historic reference guitar. When they opened the Murphy lab, it has progressed to involve a lot of things he's used historically, but also changes even in the formulation of their finish. And he talked about this with Lee Anderton on Anderton's YouTube channel, which, if you've never heard of that, they have a fairly good following. Those guys are great. And I was really impressed, actually, with the interview that he was able to do. But he's got a grab bag of tricks, if you will, things that he uses in order to age these guitars, things like a giant key ring full of keys, an old belt buckle, a door pin from some old vehicle, I think it's an old Ford truck or something like that, a railroad spike that they use in different ways. And he talked about kind of how they would go about doing that. The best part of that video is Lee is sitting there holding a guitar, and Tom grabs it and he takes the railroad spike and he's like hitting the guitar with it. And you could just kind of see Lee like reflex of like, don't do that. So that's what they do. But the finish is a big part of it too. And he's talked about that this finish, they went through a lot of different formulations to arrive on something that he feels currently is the best thing they've done, because the idea is to have a very thin nitrocellulose finish that really allows the guitar to be resonant and will wear. So these come with wear on them, but rest assured, if you buy one of these and you use it, and it's not just like a collection museum style piece, it will continue to wear. You will do your own lab work on it.
Yeah. So I think with all three of these, you could effectively say Tom Murphy aged this in a lab with a box of scraps, which is a cool thing that you cannot say about every Gibson. But talking about the finish, I mean, on the Dirty Blonde here, which is my personal favorite, you got the buckle rash, but then just like the checking that is going on this whole guitar and kind of what's emanating from this is really, really cool. It's very fun to look at, especially on a light finish like this, catching the right light. Super cool. As for the pickups in these, they're our favorites. Yeah.
Custom buckers, unpotted.
Unpotted.
With paper in oil capacitors. So.
Yeah, these are fantastic looking guitars. We got these a week or two ago, and it took everything to not want to put them on the wall and freak out and tell everybody about them. But as of today, which is, if you're watching this video, yesterday, we can finally show them off and finally kind of plug them in and get to know them. The pickups sound incredible. Each one has, obviously since it's semi-hollow, but it's got a great acoustic quality. I mean, they just sing. They're fantastic.
And it's got a lot of the 58 specific specifications. I actually have a book on ES-335 I should bring you. Right now, one of our guys, Gil, has been borrowing it. He also loves his 335. But, the 335 went through some variations over the years. And right here at the Impetus, there are certain things that are specific. So one thing is it's got this really nice, round,
very nice
58 neck. And when we say chunky, don't run away. This is such a great feeling neck. I've had this conversation multiple times in the last few weeks with people. Don't think that you like thin necks without trying different necks out. This feels great in the hand. It fills the palm really well. So even if you like kind of the thumb over the top, this is great. I don't have big hands, neither do you. I'm not palming a basketball like Wemby, but this feels fantastic. It's also an unbound fingerboard, which was only in 58. And one of the other telltale signs that ES-335 aficionados know, but maybe a lot of people don't, is the long pickguard. So in those early ones, they were literally borrowing the pickguards from the bigger archtop guitars. And so if you look at an early 335, you'll see that the pickguard extends past that bridge pickup right alongside that bridge, really kind of going past it. Whereas on, once you get into the later 60s ones, a lot of things change. The shape of the horns change, it gets binding, eventually the inlays changed and the pickguard got short. But most people yearn for something like this.
Yeah.
Late 50s, dot inlay, long pick guard. It's the chef's kiss.
Is choice. So, since they all have the same pickups, and we got these in, we're trying to get this video out ASAP so we can be part of the party. I just demoed the Dirty Blonde, which happens to be my favorite. So you can get kind of an idea. They'll all have the same pickups. They'll all sound similar. Every guitar is going to be a little bit different, but get a flavor for what's going on here. And then, you know, you can trust you can get any of them and they're going to sound good. But yeah, let's take a listen.
So they sound incredible.
They do. They feel very good as well.
So I posted, you probably haven't seen it yet. I posted and tagged you on my Instagram because I was listening to Cooper demo these guitars and had the instant stink face. You know, that's what happens. It's
They rock,
Great
yeah.
guitar, great guitar player. It's just amazing sound. They're fantastic guitars. And I really dig it. You know, the aging isn't for everybody, and I understand that. I like what they've done with these. You know, sometimes we've gotten like a relic thing in where it literally looks like it was drugged behind a truck.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little too much. Even as these are heavily aged, I think they strike a good balance. And it's interesting, you know, we've actually been doing it while we've been looking at these off camera of like thinking about, okay, so that's buckle rash. On that one, it's higher up, it's not worn through. I was like, does this mean that this person kind of, you know, had it a little lower,
Kind of
had
rockabilly
a
vibe.
longer strap?
So one thing that's interesting that I noticed earlier when I was bringing these up, and I don't know serial number wise how they are, you know, there will be something that you can look into about these Murphy Lab 335s are, you know, starting with this serial number or whatever. If you're a serial number person, all three of these start with A84.
Yeah.
This one is A840001.
A840299.
Let's see about this one. A840083. So I don't know if this is the first one that came off, but this is 0001.
That's pretty awesome.
It's cool. And it may be that, you know, whatever, but the tri-burst, if you're that person, this is 0001, and it's sweet.
It's a really cool
there
guitar.
you go.
It also happens to be the more affordable of the bunch.
It is. So
affordable.
Affordable. Anything Murphy Lab's going to be pricey. Anything Gibson's going to be pricey, especially a custom shop Murphy Lab. This one, the light aged, is $64.99 as of right now, and our
$79.99.
as is the dirty blonde.
Yep.
So $64.99 or $79.99.
Yep.
If you go on Reverb and you can find a 1958 ES-335,
it's going to be a lot more.
There'll probably be a 0 added to the end, or 2 zeros or whatever. Yeah. So I think
there aren't any on Reverb. Joe Bonamassa has purchased all of them.
Yeah. So if you want to be the next Bonamassa, you're going to want to run, don't walk, to Alamo Music or alamomusic.com, where it will say to purchase this guitar, please call us or message us below. And that's what you have to do, or you can walk in and just grab it. You have to pay for it, but you can grab it and then roll.
You do have to pay first.
Because you want the case, and that's downstairs. However, these come with really nice cases with a lot of case candy and a specific COA for the Murphy Lab for this specific run of guitars. It's a lot of good stuff in the case for these.
They are. They're 5-latch lift-in cases. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
So they're the period correct style case. Gibson actually owns Lifton now, interestingly enough. So they're making the cases that have been vintage accurate for a long, long time. And again, 130 of each of these.
Yeah.
And then no mas. That's it. So
130 of each, and only one of them says A840001. But the other ones are really cool too. I mean, which would you take if you're picking one of these?
You know, so the one I have is a burst. It's figured, which I like. But I don't know. I'd have to. They're great. I really do dig that
cool.
one.
Yeah.
But as I'm holding this one, I'm liking it. Yeah, it'd be one of the bursts. I really like the burst on a 335.
Well, I'll take this one then.
Yeah. Well, do blondes have more fun?
I sure do. Yeah.
The dirty blonde for the dirty blonde.
Let's take bets on which one goes first, but if this one goes first, it's probably because I put it on layaway and then I'll have to return it in a few months when I can't afford it. So anyway, we got 3. There is, 130 of each. Learn about it on the website. We'll send you close-up photos of everything. If you want to hear the other 2, since you only got to hear this one of us or somebody else here will play it for you, send you videos. We'd be very happy to get these guitars in your hands. Yeah, they're super cool.
I'm going to plug it into a DS1 and send you a demo.
DS1 through a Line 6 Spider 3.
And it'll still
vintage,
sound good.
Correct, yeah.
Because they're that good. I'm gonna put these pickups in my 335.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
If anybody has a Gibson that they really like but they want to love it, let us put some custom buckers in there because
not rock. The $1,000 ones with a suitcase. So.
Yeah. I don't want that. Yeah.
Anyways, so head over to the website, like Cooper said, if you're interested, or give us a call or come in. And if you're new to our channel, where have you been? We're glad you're here. Subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, and keep coming back for more, and we'll keep showing you cool stuff. See you.